All right, for chapter 1.2, we're talking about question words, also known as interrogative pronouns or los pronombres interrogativos, followed up by the preterite tense. Starting with the interrogative pronouns or words, the questions in Spanish often begin with one of the following interrogative words, as long as it is not a yes or no question. The most important thing that students need to remember when they are writing these down is that each word has a written accent. If it doesn't have an accent, then it's wrong. Some words have masculine, feminine, singular, and plural forms and have to agree to the nouns that um, they are replacing. Where is donde, adonde, como, que, cuál, or cuáles, cuánto, cuánta, cuántos, cuántas, por qué, quién, quiénes, or cuándo are going to be our words. What you're going to see is that there are going to be different variations of certain words. We'll talk about that in just a second in terms of where, and to where is donde to adonde. But if you look at cuál, cuánto, cuántos, and quién, you can see that they modify depending in gender and number. For example, cuál becomes cuáles if the answer that you are looking for is intended to be plural, and that same thing can happen with who. So if you wanted to say who are those students, you'd say quiénes son los estudiantes, where everything in that sentence agrees and is plural. For cuánto and cuánta and cuántos and cuántas, those will apply to the nouns that they are modifying as well. For example, cuánto dinero tienes, cuánta gente, how much people or how many people, cuántos libros or cuántas mesas are ways that those can agree. The big difference that we're going to study in this unit is the difference between que versus cuál. The word que and cuál both mean what. Cuál is more of a which, but the difference in terms of grammar is as follows. Que can be followed directly by a noun, and cuál cannot. For example, if we wanted to say what hotel is the best, you'd say que hotel es el mejor. If you wanted to say which hotel is best, you would have to say which of the hotels is best, or which is the best hotel. An example where you can use cuál is if it's followed by a preposition de. So, ¿cuál de las llaves necesito? Which of the keys do I need? You can see that las llaves and cuál are separated by a de. Remember, cuál cannot be followed by a noun, so it cannot be cuál or cuáles llaves would not work. Que clase, you can see that the word clase, a noun, follows the que, but if you wanted to ask the same question using the word cuál, instead of saying what class is your favorite, you'd say which is your favorite class, or cuál es tu clase favorita. The type of questions that you'll be asked to answer, you could be given 3 interrogative pronouns, and then based on the sentence or perhaps the answer, you need to be able to guess and predict which word will be best. So for the first one, ¿Cómo debo ir en coche o en avión? How should I go in car or plane? ¿Cuántos chicos hay? You can see that cuántos agrees with chicos. How many boys are there? ¿Cuál de estos puedo escoger? Which of these can I choose? ¿A dónde vas este verano? To where are you going this summer? And then finally, ¿cuánto cuesta el collar? How much does it cost? Referring to the necklace. Moving on to the preterite tense now. Beginning with AR verbs, we need to start with understanding what the preterite tense means. You might hear it called the past tense. Here you'll call it the preterite tense indicative. The present tense is he talks, and we learned to form that by él habla. The preterite tense is he talked in the past tense, and that's going to be formed él habló, and we'll get into those endings in just a moment. The preterite tense in Spanish tells us what happened at a particular moment in the past. To form the AR verbs, the following endings are used. Aste, o, amos, astes, and aron. For example, the examples in your packet will show durante las vacaciones yo monté a caballo. We take montar, substitute out our ending. Our yo form ending is going to be monté. On vacation, I rode a horse. It's very important to work on your pronunciation with the preterite tense. You do not want to say yo monte with the emphasis on the mon. You need to put the emphasis at the end of the word yo monté a caballo. Mi mamá visitó un museo. Again, it's not visito, it's visitó with the emphasis on the end where the accent is. My mother visited a museum. Mis hermanos nadaron en el mar. Many times students will pronounce this word nadaron. You need to make sure that you're putting the emphasis on the second A, nadaron. And that's they swam. Mandaste, did you send postcards? And anoche nosotros tomamos muchas fotos from tomar. If you noticed on that last one, tomamos, the nosotros form is the same in both the present and preterite tense. So how are we going to know which one is going to be used? The simplest way to put it is context. Based on what you're saying, based on the conversation that you're having, or based on key words in the sentence, you are just going to know whether tomamos means we take or we are taking photos, or we took photos. For example, if I said yesterday, ayer tomamos fotos, you know that we're not going to say yesterday we are taking photos. It would be yesterday we took photos. AR verbs that end in car, gar, and zar are going to have a spelling change in just the yo form of the preterite tense. For example, car verbs such as pescar, tocar, and sacar are going to change in the yo form to QUE. Llegar and jugar, gar verbs, are going to change to GUE. So for example, if you wanted to say I fished or I went fishing, you would say yo pesqué, Pesque with the written accent. I arrived, or the yo form preterite indicative tense of llegar, is yo llegué, LLEGUE. And then finally, zar is going to change to CE in the preterite tense. Yo almorcé, yo empecé. Here are some examples so you can see how they're spelled. Yo toqué, notice tocar in the yo form is going to change to QUE, but in the second one, it's just regular, tocó. So it's almost as if it's not irregular except in the yo form. Mis amigos y yo almorzamos, no change there, but yo jugué is going to have a spelling change, GUE. La clase empezó, no spelling change, but comenzar needs to change to comencé with a C. Pagó, no spelling change. Llegué, spelling change. Mi padre sacó, no spelling change. And yo jugué, spelling change. So you can see every other answer or every other problem is a yo form, and you're going to need to make that spelling change. ER-IR verbs are the same in the preterite tense. In the present tense, they're similar. The nosotros and vosotros forms are slightly different. But in the preterite tense, you get a twofer, and each of those verbs use the following endings. Iste, io, imos, istes, and ieron. Notice that the accent retains itself on the yo form and the LAU sted form as it did for AR verbs. And some examples of that. Ellas devolvieron, they returned. The teachers ate. I drank. The cafeteria sold. And did you sleep a lot last night? So we're going to learn 6 irregular verbs in this unit. The first 2 are ser and ir, and I'm allowed to put them on the same slide because they are exactly the same in the preterite tense. Yo fui means I went or I was. Fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuistes, and fueron. A key to remembering this one, a lot of students will put yo fue. Remember that your eyes are on the top of your head and the eyes are in the top 4 boxes. Fui, fuiste, fuimos, and fuistes, while fue and fueron are underneath. Hacer and estar are 2 other irregular verbs that we'll dive into in chapter 3.2 at length to study why they change the way that they do. But they are as hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicisteis, and hicieron. Notice in the LAU usted form it needs to change to a Z. LAU usted hizo. Estar is estuve, estuviste, and estuvo, estuvimos, estuvistes, and estuvieron. And finally, dar and ver Ver is technically only irregular because it does not have accents on the yo form and the la form. Otherwise, it is completely regular. Dar mimics ver. You can see that they are identical except the D and the V. So dar is very irregular because it follows ER, IR endings, much like ver. So D, diste, dio, dimos, distes, dieron, vi, viste, vio, vimos, vistes, and vieron.